Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How have you all been doing? I have been away for a while, but I'm back. I was never gone, I just never posted. Like, that's the thing about me, is I will post. I love posting and I love filming, and even if I don't know what to say, which I gotta stop telling myself that, because that's literally, I think that's like my biggest trigger now. It's like, I don't know what to say. Girl, you never know what to say. No, I'm just kidding, let me stop. But no, seriously, like, I've been posting, like, I've been filming. I've been trying to get into the process of like actively filming. It's the process of editing and even more so posting it that I need to like learn, because I can film. I can film for an hour every day. And I just saw this clip of a girl saying the best way she, or advice, a tip she would give out is just to like film, edit, post all in the same day, all within the hour, because you're like constantly changing your views on yourself. And like, if you see something right now and like tomorrow you'll think, what the fuck is this shit, you're gonna not want to post it. And I think that's what I've been going through. I'm trying to step away from that, for like actually that mindset of, I don't know what to say, I don't want to post this, because it's so like, it's so whatever, it's so like meaningless if like in the end I have to do this in order to get where I want to go. And I guess that brings me to a topic that I want to talk about, which is change. I think change is like my favorite thing to talk about ever. One of, just because like it puts so much into perspective. I think that like people think that change is hard, and it is, it really is, but they see it as this sort of like impossible outcome, like to be able to change, you know, your mindset, your behaviors, your lifestyle. Like it's hard or it's impossible. They can't fathom themselves having like a different life. But I think like when it comes to, you know, being who you want to be and achieving your dreams and goals, you have to constantly be changing. Like you have to in order to be who you want to be, you have to change, I guess. That's like ultimately like the outcome that I'm trying to like declare right now. Change is inevitable. I get that. Like I'm a firm believer in that. Change is inevitable. You have to change. We're always changing. We're always changing our thoughts and our opinions. Times whenever I'm just like in this rabbit hole of like, will I be successful? Will I accomplish something? Will this be meaningful? Is there purpose to this? It's sort of like all the doubts creeping, it feels like all the doubts creeping back in and reverting back to my old ways of thinking and being. And I need to stop doing that, because if I want to change and if I want to be all these incredible things I imagine all the time and feel deeply in my bones, then I have to change. And that comes with, you know, changing the way I think. I think I already did a video about this, but I mean, you can always go further with any topic. Like you can always ask different questions, look at it through a different lens, see what other people think about it. So this is like my other take on change. That's how I would describe change. It's hope, it's determination, it's like, yeah, it's that. It's just hope. I want to just like emphasize on hope. So I guess changing that belief about myself is like where I'm starting now. That's like the new evolution to this process, because I think a part of me also fears that like I'll look back in 5 years from today, or 10 years from today, and think like, ew, like why did I think that? Let me like erase all this writing or all this knowledge. Like another thing that I see or I hear when I hear people discussing change and developing and becoming, it's always like, oh, but like what if you're wrong? Like, you know, you'll look at it and your future you will see this and be embarrassed or ashamed, or want to strangle you because of the way you thought or what you said or what you did. And like, to that I say, like, we're human, which is my favorite phrase to say, but like I think that sometimes we forget like the simplicity of being a human. Like, because I know it's not simple, but and there's so much more to like human being, like But like at the root, like we are just humans. Like we're like bodies with minds and feelings and thinkings and oh, that's a whole other thing that we need to talk about. We need to start thinking about this, guys. Like, I mean, I'm sure we do, but like, we need to start talking about it because it's like consciousness and how the brain works and how the mind works and all that. Like, there's just too much. What I want people to be aware of is that like it's okay to be changing and, you know, learning new things and discovering. A lot of the times I used to think that like who I was, that was it. Like that was just my nature, that is who I am, there's no changing any of that. And I felt like change was like ridiculous. I was like, you think you can change? Like what makes you think you can change? You know, change is not something people do. Like we are who we are and that's it. And as I grew up and I realized like change is so much more, and like the confidence that it comes with and the courage that you have to change is also like another beautiful thing that is to be human. But with that, with change, I think there's also just like so much more understanding. Like you just have to see the world in a different way, understand the world in a different way. Like it's hard to be narrow-minded when you're trying to evolve your brain or your thinking or whatever it is. I think that when it comes to like studying philosophy and psychology, like I notice that change is always happening. Like every time I like think of something or I hear an idea or whatever like it is that I'm trying to further myself in order to be who I want to be, there's always like, oh, but I have to do this and I can't do this and I need to be this way and I can't be this way anymore and I need to think this way and I need to do this and it's just like always like something that you need to become or be or do. But and which is fine and fair to say, but like that's like the process, you know. You have to think this way for this time in order to feel it and be able to move on to the next chapter and see it and be it and move on. And then maybe you'll be in chapter like 300 and you'll look back at chapter like 20 and be like, oh my god, what the fuck did I just write? What the fuck did I just read? What the fuck was this? Like, and you're like in complete disgust and betrayal, and you completely start to judge who you were in the past and what you thought and how you were. But it's like, if the younger you knew that was gonna happen, like they would have done it, they would have known better, they would have changed, but they didn't. And it's part of the journey. And I feel like people just need to hold more compassion for themselves whenever like they look back and see how they were in the past and who they were. Because, you know, you'll look back at this moment in the future and be like, damn, like what was this? And like it's always a constant like battle of how I was then, is it me now? And it's disgusting and get rid of it. And it's always like that. But it's like, you can look at that and not think that way. You can look at that and think like, oh my gosh, the things I didn't know about, or the ways like I can't believe I thought this way, and like see beauty in that and see curiosity in that instead of like shame and judgment for yourself, which is change. I don't know if I said this already, but I definitely want to look at myself through a different lens, even more so. I think that there's still a lot of, you know, there's always going to be negativity everywhere, and sometimes that will spill into you. And that's the thing about psychology. You learn to see things that only you want to see and frick everyone else. I'm a baddie. I'm such a baddie. I feel like I wish there was like questions people could ask me so that I would know like what people want to talk about, and like I would want to say my opinion on that. I also feel like I'm in a constant battle with myself about progress and change, and when I don't see that like physically happening, I always like start to not always, but I tend to start to spiral and go down a negative rabbit hole. And I'm trying to see that also in a new light. Like there's perspectives to everything and life, and it's that deep. It's that deep. This might be such a like boo question, but like I genuinely like one of the most fascinating things that I like to do is like wonder about people's lives. And not in the sense of like, actually yes, in this sense, I would like to wonder what's going on in people's life, not only like mentally but like in their environment, what their daily habits are, what their routines are. What do they think? Like it's crazy. And when I was thinking about this, like, and I think about this a lot, so when I was catching myself thinking about this, I was like, why do I think about this so much? Like what is so what thrills me about this and gets me excited and curious? And I don't know, I feel like it has something to do with the universe. That's something else I want to talk about. It's a little controversial. I don't know. It might be a hot take though. I love doing this, and like I love thinking about purpose and meaning and all things existential. But it brings me to such ease, and which is, it's crazy because like then if I ask someone like what's their, you know, meaning to life, they'll be like food, and they're not joking about it, which I'm like, period, same, but like they're genuinely serious about it. They're like I think about food in every way. Like I think about it in the morning, what I'm about to eat for breakfast, and then I think about like lunch, and then I think about like nutritions and proteins and all this thing. They take it so seriously, and I'm like, oh my god, like people like have so much to think about, and like in the way that they think about, you know, food, I think about like human evolution and human brain and human thinking. And like some people will see that and be like, you're crazy, you're dramatic, you're this, and then I'll be like, okay, so be it. But everyone has their own ways of being that way. Like they have to, even if it's in as a small interest or hobby. Like I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that there is something that everyone has that keeps them going, that keeps them alive. And that makes us all like uniquely different, but in the same way it makes us all so alike. And it's kind of like, it's tripping me out because obviously like we're humans, so like we're the same character, or it's like in our nature, but like who decided that nature? Like who said this was how people were gonna find meaning in life and survive and evolve and become who they are and become society and all that shit? But like I don't want to but like I'm thinking about it like non-religiously, because like religious answers are too fucking easy for me. They are, and I'm sorry, but like whenever I ask someone something and they're like, well, it was just God made this, God made that, and like no shade, like if that's your belief, period, girl. But me, like I don't like exact answers. I love answers, but I love answers that come with like curiosity or through action and intent, or even like answers that have questions to the question of the answer, but they're not the answer. It's like you can't get a clear set answer, and that's like something I'm always like I need more of. I need it in my lungs. If I could smoke it, I would, every single fucking minute. There are times where I just think that like this was all fucking coincidence, like this all just randomly happened, a stroke of luck. But I also am someone that doesn't believe in luck, so it's like to say this is all luck and coincidence, but then to be a non-believer of luck is like, I can't think that, and I don't think that. So like, what I guess that's the answer I reach towards whenever I just want the answer, because I can't ever think of it in like a God sense, because that's too easy. But when I think about it like, okay, just luck, well, nah, but what else? Like, what made us all be this way? And like, I know people are always thinking this, and they all have answers and questions and their own beliefs and reasoning, but then again, that's all just assumption. Like, there's no clear answer. And then like me here asking you, like, what is the answer? I will never find the answer. And in a way, that's like my favorite thing about philosophy, but I fucking hate it. Like, I love psychology in the sense that like, I'm a human, so I know what it's like to go through this, and I can understand it through my perspective, and I will have some sort of answer because of how I lived it or what I went through. But then when it comes to like philosophy and like the universe and just like all humans and like minds and consciousness and thinking and brains and all this like unanswerable thoughts and questions, it's like with that, I'm like, oh, like that's a realm, that's a door that I haven't opened, and I know I want to open it so badly, but it's like once I open it, I feel like I just can't ever turn back. And like, I'm already fucking in a lot of, like, I already think a lot, I already, you know, have my own way of living. So like, if I were to open the door of philosophy, it's like a whole other branch of reality. Not that like I would love philosophy and I listen to it and I read about it and watch videos on it, but it's not to the extent of like an actual philosopher thinker. It's pretty cool. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.